Unlike some things in life, this Fiesta is low maintenance.
Powerful, great shape, and really, really good looks.
Gee, thanks, babe.
You do know I was talking about the Ford Fiesta.
I knew that. Ford Fiesta, a smart little number. Can't help but feel like a superstar.
Are you ready to meet single guys and girls right now? Try the Tanda dating service. SMS Tanda to 30111 and browse thousands of profiles on your phone. Your love is waiting for you. SMS Tanda to 30111. Discover the secrets of the heart. Master the language of love. SMS love to 30111 now. Get love tips, poems, and expert advice every day. SMS love to 30111.
Thanks for staying with us right here on Sunrise this Thursday morning with 1.7 million South Africans under impaired records. Most are still battling to pay their debts even. Now, these have affected many consumers, especially dealing with their debt. And this morning, we're discussing ways of sorting your debt and options regarding debt review. To help us deal with this, we're joined in studio by Kidilatile and from the National Credit Regulator, and also Wikus Olivier from the debt management expert from DebtSafe. Remember, you at home can be part of our conversation by giving us a call on 011-537-9337 or 9338. We also welcome your comments on our Facebook and Twitter pages this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, guys. Let's just start with you, Kidilatile. What is the difference between debt review and debt consolidation?
The difference between debt review and debt consolidation: debt review is a debt relief measure that assists over-indebted consumers. Debt consolidation, that's where you go to a credit provider and say, debts, I would like you to extend more credit. I would like you to give me money so that I can pay one debt. So you consolidate everything that you have and pay one installment. So with debt review, you actually make reduced payments based on your disposable income. So they don't lend you money, as opposed to debt consolidation, where they actually lend you money.
Okay. So now, Wikus, all these options that are out there, and how exactly is the debt review helping me as a consumer if I'm applying for that?
See, a lot of the options out there don't really establish a behavioral change in a consumer, and that's what debt review does. It teaches people to live according to a budget, and it addresses your whole debt situation holistically. Like with things like consolidation, you only shift the debt from one place to another.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really address the problem. And that's what debt review does for people.
Okay, so now in terms of like behavioral change, which is something that we need to inculcate in our country. I mean, if 45% of credit active consumers in South Africa, it means that we almost, it's almost crisis, position where we are, right?
So we actually have 23.11 credit active consumers, and of the 23.11 million credit active consumers, 45% of those have impaired records. Impaired record, we're referring to an account which is in arrears for 3 months and above. So if your account is in arrears for 3 months and above, that record is declared impaired. If you have adverse listings such as default or judgment, that record is impaired. Now, that's an indication that if you are in arrears, it means you are really struggling to pay your debt. So it is really a concern that almost half of credit active consumers have impaired records.
Okay, well, of course, we'd like to also take your calls for you to be part of this conversation this morning. You can give us a call on 011-537-9337 or 9338 and share your experiences with us in terms of like if you've gone under debt review and how has that helped you do it, and what are the challenges that you're facing that is getting you to think that's what you need to do. Who should be applying and saying, okay, I think I should be going under debt review? Because
see, in the industry, the problem that we face is people come to us way too late. They wait until summons has been issued on an account, and it creates a problem and makes it difficult for the debt review process to work for them properly. So the moment that you miss a payment, you need to talk to a debt counselor to get that advice and make use of the process that's been there put there for you as a consumer.
Okay, what are the flag signs that I personally need to be looking out for? If Wikus is saying that the minute I miss one payment, what are the things that I need to start concerning myself and say, okay, maybe I should be getting advice at this level?
Look, you're quite right. There are indicators, something that will tell you that in a month or so I won't be able to meet my debts in a timely manner. Things like skipping payments. You pay this account this month so that you can pay the other next month that you paid in the previous month, so that you're trying to keep up with the payments with the other accounts. You're borrowing money to pay debts. You're using your credit card or your overdraft for basic expenses. And when we say using your credit card or overdraft, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to use it, but if you consistently rely on such measures, to cater for basic expenses, it shows that, in the near future, you won't be able to meet your debts in a timely manner. So there's quite a number of indicators that can show one that red flags, yeah.
Okay, because what are the options when, one finds themselves in too much debt? And in terms of what are the best options for me to go under debt review?
Yeah, it depends on your level of indebtedness and how far you are with that. If summonses has been issued and it's a whole mess. But debt review is, in my opinion, the best option that consumers have. It's in line with the New Credit Act that's been there from 2007, and it's been built to assist people, to rehabilitate them, and to get them active in the credit market again. Other things like sequestration and administration is not as accommodative as debt review is. So those are things that they can consider, but debt review is by far the best in my opinion.
Kidiletile, why are we under so much debt as South Africans? What are the common factors that you find from people who are at entry level of salary earning to people who are earning close to 200,000 a month? Why is that the case?
Yeah, well, you also have a number of contributing factors, to why people find themselves in debt. It could be due to personal circumstances. I mean, if I was married before, where we were sharing expenses with my husband, if I'm single now, then I have these expenses that I have to cater for. We have retrenchment. We have, the economy as well is not making it easy for people to survive. So there's quite a number of contributing why people are actually in debt. You have people, especially, graduates, peer pressure, people wanting to live like the Jones. So there's quite a number of things that actually find people in debt. Lack of budgeting and just prioritizing on things that are actually not basic things.
Okay, so Wikus, clearly we need to, before we get to try and come and meet with you, there's things that we need to learn to be able to do before we get to this level. How do you advise those consumers who, peer pressure, trying to keep up with the Joneses, and the economy is not allowing the situation that we're perpetuating as a country? What are the things that we should be doing?
The thing is, consumers need to be honest with themselves and really prioritize their spending. And we always start, and I know this has been said many times over, you need to live according to a budget. And we actually did a survey to ask people, do they budget? And in line with last month, that was savings month. And they don't budget. 19% of the people we interviewed don't know what a budget is at all. So that is the problem. They don't know how much is going where, and that is the first point of call that you need to address.
All right, okay, we're taking your calls on 0115379 or 9338. We've got Pizzo holding on the line. Pizzo, thanks for holding your comment or question this morning.
Yes, ma'am, good day to you.
Good morning, Pizzo.
Yes, my name is Pizzo Manfredi.
Oh, sorry, Tsepiso. Okay, go ahead, your question.
Yes. I'm actually being defaulted with Atlas Finance. And then within 1 month, they already put that into default instead of overdue. Then at later stage, I took about 7,000. Then at later stage for second month, they said my amount is almost 80,000.
Okay, so is this like a micro loan or something?
It's something like a loan, yes.
Okay.
When I called second month, I said no, I'll payment because I want early settlement. They said you can settle, but the amount went up on the 18,000. When I keep on calling them, they said no, you must pay off the area. The account is being handed over to syndicated collectors. When I follow up, I tell them, they said to me, and then I must pay the full amount of 18,000, or either which made discount of 6,000, no, 4,000, which will go down to 14,700. And I thought this is unacceptable because this, the way we agreed, the installment was supposed to come instead of 1,200.
Okay, Kitilatile, what happens in this case? What is Sipiso supposed to do?
Did he mention that he was issued with summons?
No, he said nothing about summons. He said about the amount doubled within 2 months, and then there was but he didn't say, I don't think he said summons. I didn't hear summons.
Look, I think I can advise Tepiso to actually contact our offices so that we can look into matters, into his matter. But generally, what consumers need to know is that when you apply for credit, there's a quotation that has to be provided to you that shows how much you're going to pay at the end of the repayment term. So as a consumer, you have a right for that upfront disclosure to see how much that debt is going to cost you. So with his query, I would really like him to refer it to our offices so that we can look into that matter. But once again, if you are in default and they want to issue summons, as a consumer, you have a right to be given notification before they can proceed with legal action.
Okay.
So in terms of the calculations, I think it will be best if it's referred to our offices for further investigation.
For further investigation. Okay, Piso, that's what you have to do. Of course, the details are on screen right now. Let's catch up with Faith, who's standing by with some of your Facebook comments for this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Pin. And of course, which we posed on Facebook is that exactly what are your questions regarding debt review as well as debt consolidation? And these are the various answers that came out this morning, and some of the questions we posed to our guest. Muketa starting off saying, I've got 3 questions. When I'm under debt review, will my outstanding debt keep going? And what happens once debt review has been completed? Can I buy a house, a car, etc.? If my unsecured debt is paid off under debt review, what will happen with my bond? So that's one question for Muketa. Just saying, I just want to know who is paying the debt counselor's salaries and how do they generate an income? Colin, what can I do to save my money? Because after getting paid, I'm left with nothing. I mean, I can't sacrifice rent, grocery, school fees, and bus fees to work. So here's another question there that is coming in. Bongan is saying that how to also use my money very well. Even now, I owe people around 5,000 Rand. Kanya making a comment saying, how do I save money? Because when I have money, my hand itches and want to spend on useless things. Nagging people to borrow me money because I'm broke. So how do I prevent or derail this from happening? So looks as though, and a very last one, McKay saying, what are the requirements for a person to actually qualify for debt consolidation? Numerous questions coming out about how to save money, what happens when it comes to the debt consolidation process, who's actually in charge of it, how do I qualify for it? But it is back to you in studio.
All right, thanks to Faith there. Of course, some of those comments are coming through. Wikus, you want to answer some of that?
Yeah, I like the lady with the itching hands. Immediate gratification, that is one of the biggest causes of being over-indebted. Rather step back a bit and identify, do you really need to buy this thing? And rather wait a week or so and see in a week's time, if you still want to buy it, then go and buy it. But most of the time, you won't need it anymore.
You won't need it anymore. Okay, Kililatile?
Just in general, I mean, the good thing about debt review is that you don't have to borrow money to be able to go under debt review. And yes, debt counselors, there are fees that are paid, and these are once-off fees. You've got a once-off fee where they restructure your accounts, and there's a aftercare fee, which is basically for debt counselors to monitor progress, you know, of you whilst you're under debt review. And yes, you reach a point where you will be issued with a clearance certificate if you have managed to pay all your debts that were restructured. And there was one question about a bond to say, what happens if I paid all my short-term credit? The good thing that came with the implementation of the Amendment Act to the National Credit Act is that if you have paid all your short-term credit agreements under debt review and you have a home loan that is not in areas in terms of the debt rearrangement plan, you can be issued with a clearance certificate. And that means as a consumer, you've learned your lesson. It means you have been rehabilitated. You can tap back into the credit market.
Okay, and then how do one qualify for debt review? I think that was one of the questions that someone asked there.
Yeah, for debt review, because they mentioned consolidation there. But consolidation, not everybody can qualify for that. If you have a bond and in your property or something, you can use that to consolidate your debt, or you'll apply for a consolidation loan, but then they'll have to go through the whole affordability assessment, and you basically need to be able to afford double what you're paying now. And
so that's debt consolidation,
that's
right?
debt consolidation.
But then debt review, what are the process and how do one qualifies for that?
Yeah, debt review, you simply need to be able to afford enough so that we can put a reasonable payment plan on the table for your credit providers. Because as debt counselors, we stand between the credit providers and the consumers, and we need to take both of their what they need in terms of repayment. We need to consider that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take Zibi on that line, calling from Eastern Cape. Hello, Zibi. Thanks for holding. Your comment or question this morning?
Yeah. Sorry for disturbing you, Ma.
No, you're not.
I've got platinum cards, right, in Standard Bank, ABSA, and FNB. And Nedbank, my mother also had invested in African Renaissance, right, and all that. Well, every time we go there, we collect cards, we don't get them. Okay. The thing which happens is that you go to inquiries and you see that people have already ripped your card open and used it for something else. And now the problem is I don't owe anybody. Even the mayor here in Butler doesn't owe anybody. Even Chris Hart doesn't own anybody money. But
okay, Zibi,
those things which happen. Please keep those.
Zibi, can you listen to? Because I'm trying to understand what your question is. It's not clear
We
to us.
don't get our platinum cards, Ma.
You don't get your what?
Platinum cards, yes.
You don't get your platinum cards.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have money problems if you apply for platinum cards. This is very clear. Okay, Zibi, we're going to have to leave it at that because you're not in the basically talking about what we're talking about. I don't know what Zibi's talking about.
I don't know either, but platinum cards, definitely credit cards that consumers need to watch out for. High interest rates, only use it for emergencies, and yeah.
Is credit cards one of the biggest problem that's getting people into debt?
Yeah, of course. I mean, with a credit card, what we found as well is that consumers would use credit card if there's an account that has to be sacrificed in terms of payment. It will not be a credit card because they know it revolves. So if you make a payment, then they make the money available. So yeah, credit card is one of the accounts that. You know, if you look at consumers that are under debt review, most of them has a credit card.
Okay. All right. So obviously, we're having a challenge of people differentiating between good debt and bad debt and budgeting. Where are we missing it though, as a country, would you say, Wikus? And how do we address that? What do you think the National Credit Regulator, for example, or people who are doing financial literacy should be doing?
Yeah, I think it all starts with education. People don't know. As I said earlier, that's the starting point of everything. Know what you earn, know what your expenses are, and match them up. Don't spend more than what you earn.
Okay.
That's the crux of it.
Don't spend more than what you earn. I have to actually leave it there. Let's quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, in the beginning, you've mentioned consumer behavior.
Okay.
So consumers need to know what goes into their account, what goes out. They need to differentiate between a need and a want.
All right. Okay, we'll have to leave it at that. And we've been speaking to Skidulazi Lelkhori from the National Credit Regulator and also Wikus Olivier from the management expert from DebtSafe. And coming up next is Faith trying to make you a winner. Okay, let me make you a winner right here on Sunrise. Of course, this week, Sunrise is partnering with Barcelos and giving one lucky viewer per day a chance of winning a Lenovo A7 tablet to the value of 2,100 rands. Now, Barcelo is the official home of Portuguese flavored chicken, and their thumbs up feast is a family favorite. Find your nearest Barcelos fast food restaurant online at barcelos.co.za. And today's easy question.